Welcome to tonight's tutorial. I'm Pam Wrigley and I am a bridal hairstylist. And tonight I'm going to show you how to create, let me just tweak this camera just a little bit. That's it. Tonight I'm going to show you how to create a really quick hairstyle. Well, a really quick Hollywood wave, first of all. There are different techniques to create the Hollywood wave. They all center around tonguing the hair in the right way. So I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. And we're also going to do some braids in the hair, just a couple of quick braids that are simple but very effective. If you have any questions as we go through tonight's tutorial, please just pop your questions into the chat box and I'll do my best to keep an eye on all the questions tonight. Sometimes I get carried away with the hairstyle and I kind of take a couple of minutes before I see everything. So a little bit about our bridal hair course. Basically, we have our online platform here on YouTube where you can join me every Tuesday and learn how to do a fabulous bridal hairstyle. And I also have my online bridal hair platform. So, if you want to see things a bit more kind of close up and in detail, a bit kind of close up and personal, then you can join me on my platform where you can learn. We've got styles for all hair types: short, long, thin, thick, afro hair, curly, natural curls, straight hair. So if you want to find out more, just please get in touch and I can send you some more information. But let's get cracking with tonight's tutorial, shall we? And as I say, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat box and I'll do my best to get back to you really quick. Thank you for joining me, those people who we've got so far. Kiki, Adwa, Harriet, hi ladies. I hope you're well. Now, I've already done a little bit of hair prep here tonight and I've left this section out here purposefully. I'm going to braid this piece of hair and we're going to come back and curl that a little bit later. And I have prepared the curls here at the back and the hair is a little bit crispy and I'm going to show you what I did, how I prepared the hair. And I've got these three sections. Sectioning is all important when it comes to creating most bridal hairstyles. You don't just want to kind of, go hell for leather into creating the style, picking up chunks of hair. You want to be kind of measured and careful with how you section the hair. So here we've got the crown section separated here. I've done the back, we've got the sides here, and then the other side is the same as this. So we've got our front section. Well, this lady, actually, we haven't got a front section. This lady does have a just kind of off-center part, but quite often we would have this section separated as well. But I already know how this lady wants to have her hair parted, so I'm going to work with her natural part. But let's get started with this curling here before I show you how to soften these kind of rather crispy curls. Now, to prep the hair, it's a good idea to get a little bit of kind of staying power into the hair. So you could pop a little bit of mousse in the hair whilst it's dry. We're not kind of going to do a blow dry from wet here because we're going to spend the time on the hair prep is going to be curling the hair rather than doing a full-on blow dry. But if you put a bit of mousse in the hair, if she doesn't have kind of natural curls, it always helps, gives the hair a little bit of extra staying power if the hair likes to be straight. Bit of mousse, then blow dry that product in the hair, and a little bit of your styling care lotion, which I've got off camera just here. So our silhouette styling care lotion, you could just spritz that through the hair before you begin, or you could put it on each section as you work with each section of hair. And then we're going to create our curls. And on the crown area here, I've split it. Let me see if I can bend her down so you can see. I've split this crown section into three sections. And I want the curls, the waves, to kind of sit between each other when the hair comes down. So I've done one on this side. We've got a row here. This, strictly speaking, is also the crown. So I've done a row of curls there. And then we've got a curl here, then this one's going to sit to that side, and this one is going to sit in the middle. So we don't get any kind of unsightly gaps when we, oh, when we create our style. Oh, let's move this lady. She doesn't want to move. That's it. Okay. So let me just check our questions. I think we've got a few coming in, and then I'm going to start curling. Let's have a quick look. How would I dry it from wet? If the hair was greasy and you had to do wet to dry, good question. You can't work with greasy hair. You can put dry shampoo in, but it just ends up, if it's very greasy, it just ends up kind of clogging everything. So it's far better. Some people think, sometimes your clients will turn up thinking, oh, I thought I had to my hair dirty to have it styled. No, you want lovely, fresh, clean hair, not overly conditioned, so they don't need to put any deep conditioners or leave-in products or serum or anything like that, not unless you're working with a natural curl. So really you want clean, dry hair. If they do have greasy hair, ideally get them to wash it. And what you could do, what I would suggest doing, is they just need to blast it dry, or you just need to blast it dry. Get the hair dry. You could put a little bit of mousse in at that stage, but really you want it might, sometimes it tangles a little bit if it is, if you've got the mousse in and then you just do a rough blow dry. So really you just want to get the hair dry and then maybe put a touch of mousse in to give it a bit of grip, dry it again very quickly, and then you're ready to start styling the hair. But you don't want, if you are going to do a blow dry on the hair, then you need to do it, section the hair, put your product in, probably would be a bit of mousse, section the hair, blow dry the hair. We do have tutorials, blow dry tutorials on our e-learning platform. So you would need to get the hair dry before you start to do any of this kind of curl work. So if you're doing a full-on blow dry, it does add an extra, depending on how much hair they've got, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes onto the styling process. So ideally, ask them to come with clean, dry hair, and you'll save yourself a lot of time. So unless you kind of, you're doing a blow dry style for them, that's a whole different matter. Then they need to have clean, wet hair. Okay, let's get our Infinium Stronghold hairspray onto the hair. I think that's nearly empty, but I might just have a little bit left in. Now, unlike a beachy wave, what we need to do with the hair when we're doing more of a Hollywood wave, a quick Hollywood wave, is make sure we curl the hair. Every curl goes in the same direction, because then the waves will sit together. So I'm going to start off with a twist. I'm going to put my curl on this side of the hair, and I'm going to twist the hair at the beginning away from the curl. So there's the hair's twisted away from the curl, wrap around, come back, whoops, get that hair out of the way, do another twist, come back. So we're doing a kind of, you want to make sure you get this kind of very definite twist in the hair, and try and keep your hands close to the tongue, because you want the twist to be kind of short and sharp. Then you get a more of a beachy wave, more of a Hollywood wave rather than a soft kind of beachy wave. So we do want, if she wants a beachy wave, just hold your hand a little bit further away and you get a very soft wave. But if you want a slightly deeper Hollywood wave, keep your hand close to the tongue as you curl and as you twist. So that's that one there. And then we've got our next one here. Let's see, I might just give her a little brush. You don't want any tangles in the hair here. And then let's create our waves. So here we go. Whoops. Bit of spray underneath and over. The tongue's going on this side of the hair. So I'm going to twist away from where the tongue's going to sit. You could lift the clamp up, you could have the clamp down, twist away, another twist, and another twist, and keep going all the way to the ends of the hair. Now, on our bridal hair platform, we do have, we've got lots of tutorials covering hair prep, whether it's curling the hair to get a soft beachy wave or a deep Hollywood wave, or whether to get just a very soft curl in the hair. So there are lots of different ways of working with your tongs to achieve a different look. And you can also work with, we also have tutorials with straighteners and heated rollers, blow dry, crimpers, lots of different ways of curling the hair, preparing the hair, depending on the style, the kind of finished look you want to achieve. So these sections aren't too big, so I don't need to hold them on the tongs for too long. Okay, so now let's do our next bit, which is, so usually what I'd do if I was working with a bride and we had a couple of bridesmaids to do, I would do the hair prep, and she wanted a Hollywood wave like this, or even a beachy wave. I would do the hair prep, and I'm just going to pin that out of the way. I do the hair prep first of all, and then I'd kind of go on. So she's walking around with her hair in this kind of crispy looking wave. I'm using a little bit of our L'Oreal List Control cream here. So she'll be walking around with her hair in these kind of crispy curls. And then when you're due to style, you can just break the cast on that spray on the hair. We've got that little slight crispiness from the hairspray that we've used. And let's just break this kind of cast on there, that crisp little bit of crispiness to get the hair soft. Whoops. And so we can see this, and it's a soft wave, it's not a deep wave. It's kind of not quite beachy, but it's more than you'll see in a minute, it'll all start sitting together. It's not quite a beachy wave, it's a bit more than a beachy wave, but not your kind of strict, kind of deep, deep Hollywood wave. And that might depend on your client's hair. If she's got hair that curls particularly well, you might find, that's it, it's coming nicely now. We're going to get this lovely soft wave. Beautiful. So if your client's hair curls really well, you don't need to pin the hair up. But if you find that if you did this on a trial and it dropped really quickly, then what you could do is when you've created each curl, just pin it up in place to cool down. Then you'll find when you take the hair out, you will have a much deeper wave to the hair. So it really depends the kind of look that you're going for. That's it. That's just, and this is a style actually that I did on a bridesmaid. The picture that you see on our thumbnail is the style that I did on the bridesmaid just last weekend. Not last weekend, sorry, the weekend before. And she had lovely. She was a young bridesmaid. She wanted a nice sort of soft wave in the hair, and she wanted, let's make sure we've left that bit out, she wanted some braids in there. So there's lots of different ways you can kind of, you can finish the style. You don't have to do a braid. You could do a little twist. You could have all the hair down. Let's just get this into a nice little wave going on here. You can see it's just falling nicely here into this wave. These are still a little bit warm, these ones that I've just done. That's it. And you can comb through. If you want it to sit together kind of really nicely, you can give it a little comb and a little nudge and just get it to sit together. That's it. Or you can leave it in that lovely kind of more of a beachy look. I'm going to separate this away because we're going to use that for our braid in a minute. That's it. Looks like that one actually, that's part of the braid. I thought that didn't look particularly curly. That's going to be braided later. Let's just put that over there so it's out of the way. That's better. Another curl here. That's it. Lovely. She's got very flyaway ends, this lady, I'm afraid to say. She could do with a little trim, but it's all right for now. You can see our wave there. So you don't have to kind of brush it through. You can just keep it so that it's kind of, if you do want a Hollywood wave, sometimes what I would do is I'd brush it through a layer at a time as I take out the waves right from kind of underneath at the bottom here. But if you want more of a beachy wave, you don't need to do this kind of brushing. But you can see we've got this lovely kind of wave going on here. We've got another, whoops, today's we've got another wave here. Let's just smooth, whoops, being a bit rough with my bride today. That's better. So, nice, quick bit of a wave. Let's see. Lovely. So, super quick wave. Now, should we do our braid on the other side? Now, let's have a look. Now, I haven't actually, you see the end of the braid here is still straight. I've not curled the hair, and I'm going to show you why in 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second, because I think my cat is making a lot of, oh, here she is. She might start meowing in a minute. She's a very needy little cat, so you might even come on set. She's just come in. If you could hear that door creaking, she was letting herself into the room here. And let me check my messages again. Okay, let's have a look. Do you leave a gap close to the root as possible? That's a very good question, actually. Do I leave a gap at the top? You do leave a little bit of a gap at the top, yes. I mean, the higher you start the curl, the higher the first wave will be. So it really depends where you want it to start. But for a lot of styles today, they're not necessarily, if you want to get height, you kind of, you wouldn't go with their natural part to start off with. You might kind of change where the natural parting sits, and you might kind of go against the direction of root growth. So you're already getting height before you even start to curl. So you don't, there are lots of different ways of cheating and getting a little bit, it's not cheating really, it's working with the hair. So it will help you get the desired height. So if somebody wants root lift here, you don't necessarily need to curl very close to the scalp. You just need to think about where the hair, the direction it wants to go. And if she wants to get some height, then maybe go for a side parting, but go against the direction of that root growth. And you'll find if you go opposite that, before you even begin, you'll get this lovely sweeping height, which is always lovely for a Hollywood wave. But having said that, I would say at the moment it's kind of a bit more popular to not necessarily have a lot of root lift here and to go for that huge volume there, but perhaps have it a little bit more kind of slightly more boho, so it's not so big, it's just kind of a little bit softer, and then we go into fall, so the hair then kind of falls into the wave. So you can start higher, and you would get and if you do start higher, the waves will start higher. So it just depends, but I tend not to go, I go kind of fairly close to the scalp, but not too close. So let's just create our braid. So I've left this bit straight for a reason, and I'm going to show you that reason in a minute. Try and get 3 fairly even sized sections of hair. And if your bride at this point, now there's several different ways you can make your braids look really fat and chunky. If your client doesn't have a lot of hair, you could add a little clip-in extension just underneath the hair here and add that to the braid, so it makes the braid a little bit more kind of meaty and a bit more chunky. Or if you don't have that, you could use a little bit of texturizing powder, and there's a couple of ways you can use the texturizing powder. Something like this, and this is the Big Sexy Hair powder clay, and you can dust that in the hair either After you've created the braid, so you might create the braid and then just dust it over the top of the braid, or even better, underneath at the back, because then it doesn't kind of, when you then kind of, you can activate it on the hair just by rubbing the hair through your fingers. And if it's underneath, you don't get any kind of residue, any visible residue. So you can do that. Or if the hair is particularly fine, you'll find if the hair is very fine and you need to use quite a bit of texturizing powder to get it to be really chunky, you might find if you put it on the braid, it kind of messes the braid up a little bit and it doesn't look as smooth and as gorgeous. So what you could do in that situation is, before you start braiding, separate the hair into three, and then on each kind of section of hair, put some texturizing powder on each individual section and just kind of activate it. Then get that smooth. So the section by section, you've made the hair chunkier with the texturizing spray, and then create your braid, and then you've already got thick chunky sections. So that's another, you know, if she's got particularly fine hair and she does want a chunky braid, then you can, there are several things you can do. Three things really you can do. Add hair extension. You can create the braid and then add your texturizing powder, or you can create your three individual sections, texturize each one, smooth them out, and then create your braid. But you might be lucky and have a bride who already has thick hair. This practice hair's got very thick, gorgeous, luscious hair all the way through, even at the front. So I don't need to worry about adding texturizing powder to my practice head. In fact, I don't usually, because I find that then you can't get it out of the practice head without having to wash it and do all, you know, you don't have to do that every time you create a style. So a little bit of mousse though will make a big difference. Oh, that's a lovely braid. You can see, let me just lift her up a little bit so you can see the hair. That's better. And you can see this lovely wave now sitting in the hair. Oh, very pleased with that. Very pleased. Lovely. So I've got a little braid on the other side that I created, something I created earlier. And I'm going to bring this back and watch what I'm doing. I'm not kind of just gripping it flat on the head. I'm putting a little twist in the hair here. So it's kind of a little fold almost in the hair. I'm putting a grip down the back of there. That's it, lovely. Nice and secure. Each kind of bobby pin has a job to do, so you don't want it kind of floating around. And this one, I just put a little elastic band in it to hold it together, but we don't really need a band there. So I don't want to, I want it to what do I want it to do? I want to secure it and not have it too, let me just make sure that's still on. I want to secure it but not have it too bulky at the back here. Where are we? There, that's it. Just a little bit more of a braid there. You could put a bit of back combing here if you wanted to, just at the end of the braid, just there, before you secure. Oh, she's looking gorgeous. And if your bride wanted a little bit of height here, you know, you could do what we usually do on the crown and just add a little bit of height to each of these little sections here. And then what we want is, the reason I didn't curl these front sections, I'm just going to make sure this is nice and secure. That's it. The reason I didn't curl these front sections was because I want them to sit. I want this section, the curls here, to sit with the waves at the back. So in order to do that, we need to curl the hair. Now we've brought it back. A little bit of Infinium hairspray, and remember which way we curled the hair. So I put the tongue on this side of the hair, twisted, and I could go underneath that clamp. And then we're going to do our twist again on the hair. And then when we take this out and we kind of loosen, you know, if it's a little bit crispy, we soften that cast on the hair. And then the waves will all sit beautifully together. Now, here we go. It's a short bit of hair. Depending on how long your lady's hair is, it might be thicker. Let that set a little bit. We could pop a couple of accessories in. I'll check my questions whilst we let that cool down just a little bit. Make sure my bobby pins are secure there. Let's just check. I've got, which texture? Oh, yes, the cat coming in. Let's have a look. Which texturizing powder do I recommend? Well, there are a few texturizing powders that I really like. I love the Big Sexy Hair powder play. Osis Dust It is really good. To be honest, they're quite, some of them, you need to check them out. The Big Sexy Hair is great because it's kind of invisible on the hair. I find sometimes the Osis Dust It, although they do a light version, can be a little bit ashy in the hair. And which other one do I like? Let's make sure I've gripped these. I don't feel I've gripped these in very well, actually. I'm going to go again with another bobby pin going up this way into that hair. That's better. That feels better. Yeah. Oh, look at this. It's perfect. It's just waving. It's just curving with the hair. So yeah, the Osis Dust It can be a little bit ashy in the hair. It's amazing. But they do a light version that's not quite as strong, and that's a bit less ashy, but that's a great product. And there's also another one called Puff Me, which is fabulous because you don't have to tip it onto the hair. It's got a little spray puffer on it, so you can direct it a bit more kind of specific. You can be a bit more specific with it. But yeah, there we go. There's a lovely kind of gentle Hollywood wave. It's not a Hollywood wave. It's not that kind of wave that's not moving, doesn't move an inch, and it's kind of, you know, a bit rigid. This is a kind of soft wave that just works beautifully and moves with your client. So you could always pop a few little clips in it if she really wanted it to all sit together. You could go around the hair and kind of clip it all in like this along each of those waves if you wanted to get a more perfect finish. But here we're going for a little bit more of a relaxed vibe, so I don't think we need to worry about that. But thank you for joining me tonight. And I want to dedicate, this is not much of a dedication, but I want to mention my fabulous friend, Sharian, who sadly passed away on Sunday. So I'm a bit sad at the moment, but I wanted to do tonight's tutorial and I hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope you've all had a good week. And I'll be back again next Tuesday. And I want to send lots of love out to everybody. And thank you for joining me. Okay, take care. Bye. Thank you again.